This is Mornings with Al Farabee on CFAX 1070.
Well, I'll tell you, when we mentioned the words amalgamation, ears kind of perk up around the capital region. It's been a talked about issue for the last little while, and an opportunity to talk about it again in studio and on the phone, guests from a group that is called the Greater Victoria Conservation Project. Love the name.
Conversation.
What did I say?
Conservation.
Let's not go there. That's another thing altogether. The Greater Victoria Conservation Conversation Project. See, it's hard to say already, boys.
That's right.
I'm telling you. Rod Phillips is on the phone. Hi, Rod. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Al.
Good, man. Tony Joe's in studio. My teacher this morning. I love that. I'll start with Tony.
Yes.
What is this all about?
This is really just the beginning. So going back a few months, as many recall, during the municipal elections, 8 of the 13 municipalities had the question on the ballot about, and it was worded in many different ways, of course, but whether or not municipalities would consider conversation about efficiencies. You know, sometimes the word amalgamation was not necessarily used. But days after the election, the provincial government, Corley Oakes, the Minister for Community, Sport and Cultural Development, came forward and said that the BC government wanted to do a study, a governance study about this.
So this, and I'll go to Rod on this one, is this really about merging 13 municipalities into one?
No, at this point, no, it's not about doing that one thing. What it's about is providing the government with the maximum amount of information from the community for which they can go forward on their study. So if it's that study that will determine what the next steps are towards amalgamation or not.
So what is going to be happening tonight? And I'll go to Tony on this one. What is the public invited to be a part of?
Well, first of all, actually, all of the public is invited. So not just the people from the 8 municipalities that were asked the question on the municipal ballot, but everyone's invited to come. There are going to be panelists that are going to talk about things such as governance, neighborhoods, parks, recreation, emergency services, water, sewer, infrastructure. There are 8 panelists who will be making presentations. There will then be breakout sessions for people who are there to have conversation about these things. And we are going to finish up by having an open mic where we can hear what people want to say by asking questions of the panelists.
Rod, why is this important?
Well, I think it's important because, you know, what we're asking the community to do is come and learn, engage, and be a part of the solution. And this is a century-old question. It comes up every 4 years, and it'll be part of our kids' futures forever if we do this right. And here's our big one. So the more we can get people together, the more we can get all their opinions and the ideas put on a paper and brought to government's attention, the better the result will be. That's why it's important.
Both of you are business people and well known in the community. Tony, was this something that made sense to you from the get-go? Because we talked about amalgamation, and once upon a time it was like, especially when some of the politicians were talking, they're like, well, there's no way in our lifetime that amalgamation could potentially happen in our community here in Greater Victoria. Did you sense that maybe there was that possibility from the very beginning?
Well, you know, as we've talked about here, it's something that keeps on going around back and forth. You know, so personally, from my own standpoint, I very much would like to be part of this conversation. You know, basically tonight, and we're planning another 4 events, it is not exclusively about amalgamation. It's a conversation about efficiencies and really what the community would like to see. So I think any Victorian would want to be involved in such a conversation.
So, Rod, if I use the word amalgamation, I'm not really covering the story, am I?
No, I think, you know, the story is it's not a complete story yet because it's still unfolding, and that's, you know, part of the proposition of the conversation is to bring all those ideas together. So, you know, amalgamation can mean multiple things across multiple governance issues across the entire region. So, it's obviously a buzzword, and it gets people attention, and the word has been used for 100 years. So, we're looking to redefine that.
All right. So this is happening again tonight. Tony, where?
It is at S.J. Willis, 923 Topaz. Doors will be open at 5 p.m.
And you said this is the first of a few of
Yes.
these events.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more, if people do want to find out more about what you're all about, let me try the name again. The Greater Victoria Conversation Project.
Yes.
Whew. If people want to find out more about what this is, where can they do that?
They can find it everywhere. So first of all, the website is greatervictoriaconversation.ca. On Twitter, it's at Greater YYJ Convo, and it can be found on Facebook as well.
Talking about it is the start for sure, and this is the place to do it, and our guests are a part of it. Tony Joe and Rod Phillips. These are spokespeople for the Greater Victoria Conversation Project. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Thanks, Al.
All right.
Thank you. That was great.
You bet. 728 here at CFAX 1070.